What's the word, y'all? There's something I'm meaning to tell you guys, okay? I have never been a fan of female-led animes. Not because I'm sexist or anything like that, it's purely because there's not a lot of them out there. And every time I say that, people would always assume I'm sexist. I mean, if I'm sexist, can I do this? But sometimes all the planets align and gives us a show like Frieren. I just finished watching Frieren Season 1 and right now I'm wrestling with the demons of Babylon because I'm this close to buying the entire set, the entire manga set for Frieren. This show is on a whole nother level. I can't tell you how much I'm obsessed with this show right now. And yes, I know the internet's already flooded with hundreds of video essays on how Frieren changed their life or how Frieren is a masterpiece. Let me tell you right now, this video is gonna be none of those. Because there's something Frieren does that captures its audience attention from an emotional and personal standpoint. And not a lot of people are talking about that. A very type of secret sauce mastered exclusively by how Frieren is written. Today we're going to be talking about how Frieren masters its storytelling through its flashback. Subscribe, like, support small creators like me, and fuck Jack. I know flashbacks are a very common thing in anime. They're practically everywhere, from Naruto, One Piece, from Devils and Part-Timer. Every anime has their own flashback scenes. But let me tell you right now, with how Frieren is structured, with the story starting at the end of the hero's journey, with Himmel dying, the party disbanding, and Frieren left pondering her existence, every flashback from then forth out is something we missed out on. Because we missed out on this adventure as well. These flashbacks aren't just reminiscence, it's Frieren's slow burn realization that her adventure with the hero party, with Himmel, with Hyter and Aizen, meant more to her than she thought. And that's basically the whole show. It's about how the past connections Frieren made affected Frieren's present. Their memories filled with regret, and that's told from Frieren's excellent use of flashbacks. But before we talk about how Frieren's flashbacks are so special, we first need to learn how Frieren uses its flashbacks strategically. By far, the thing that sets Frieren apart from all the other animes is their placements of flashback. Let's look at our first example with episode 2, It Didn't Have to Be Magic. But first, water break. During their adventures after Hyter's death, Fern questions why Frieren collects so many weird spells that some find mundane or useless. Magic is a power system after all, so why does Frieren choose not to collect those super powerful magic spells, but instead go around the country doing odd jobs for spells people don't even care for? She loves magic somewhat and tells her that her motivation towards magic is exactly the same as Fern. We didn't get it there, and Fern doesn't get it as well, because how does one compare, collecting naked, seeing through clothes spells, be on par with Fern's serious determination to become a mage? But later on, we'll know exactly what Frieren meant, because we found out later that the motivation they had to liking magic is nearly identical to why magic is so important to them. But we'll come back to that later. We then cut to Frieren being haunted by Himmel's flashback. She was about to cheat and use a flower summoning spell, a spell that summons any random flower, nothing special, placed down in Himmel's statue, which what I think the old Frieren would do. But when she was about to use the spell, she remembers something Himmel said. But I assume the small scene of Himmel that Frieren remembered was him talking about the blue moon flower and how, it was special to him, it grew out in his hometown, and that, that's his favorite flower. That is what I thought Frieren remembered. Again, I'm only speculating because that scene had no dialogue whatsoever. So with one flashback, we grown curious to what Himmel said that made Frieren so obsessed with getting these flowers that she spent half a year searching for them. And during the journey again, Fern asks Frieren, why does she collect so many weird spells? If it's not loving magic, then why? And we flash back again for the first time in the episode, now with dialogue. Frieren says collecting weird spells has always been her hobby, but she really didn't feel joy from it. It's not until some idiot praised her for collecting weird spells that she started to love her hobby even more. The flashback then shows Frieren conjuring a spell that blossoms flowers, the same one she was about to use on Himmel's statue and the same one she will use later on to plant the blue moon flower. She loves collecting weird spells because of Himmel. And when she finally sees the flower, we finally get that dialogue that was missing later on in the episode, connecting the two mysteries into one flashback. And the most tragic part in all of this is that Frieren's motivation to searching for those flowers had nothing to do with Himmel saying that, it's his favorite flower or that that flower grew from his homeland. The reason why Frieren spent so long finding these flowers is because Himmel promised he would show her someday. And obviously, that day never came. When I was watching this for the first time, I cried, okay? And it takes a lot, for me to cry. I'm a man. But God damn it, I cried in episode 1, I cried in episode 2. Jesus Christ, man, this shit is actually emotionally crushing, bro. God damn it. Watching it for the first time is one part. Watching it in hindsight, it's more like I don't know, bro. She was really searching for these flowers because of a failed promise 80 years ago. Because she already admitted that she wasn't doing this for Himmel. She's doing this for herself. Her trying to find the flowers showed how much his wish meant to her. And when she finally sees it, she says a line that's very overlooked in the show. Frieren lived over 1,000 years. For her to be saying, it took longer than expected, that's a huge line. It has so many meanings. The intercutting between present and past just highlights how Frieren changes because of Himmel. The whole goal of the show is for Frieren to understand more about humans. And we see it right there and there in episode 2. When Fern was crashing out on Frieren for taking too long searching for these goddamn flowers, Frieren agrees to call off the search because she tried to understand things from Fern's perspective. And eventually, that's all because of Himmel. And in the end, we finally get the answer to why Frieren tells her that they're the same towards liking magic. Just like how Frieren liked collecting weird spells because of Himmel, Fern liked magic because of Eiichiro. They liked magic because of other people. It didn't have to be magic, but it is. Cue the episode's title. And that's how one flashback scene builds up to a satisfying conclusion at the end of the episode. Every flashback, the value of these moments, the value of every moment with Eiichiro, with Aizen, with Himmel, every time they appear, we're happy to see them, but it always feels so devastating because we all know how it ends. Every flashback is Frieren reminiscing. With each flashback, Frieren is slowly trying to understand why these moments matter. She regrets not enjoying herself and spending more time with everybody. She misses the good old days. And that's exactly why Frieren evokes so many nostalgic feelings from everybody. It's so relatable. Whenever that's playing Minecraft with your friends or, watching the fattest girl in your school stuff an entire chicken wing like it's a fucking french fry. The emotion that Frieren is feeling is something we can all relate to. We all have our own regrets. Moments that we thought were small create everlasting impacts that make us who we are. And Frieren does that in half an episode because of its flashback. Let me give you another example with episode 4, The Land Where Souls Rest. Frieren is trying to clean this bitch because she wants to see the sunrise reflected in the clean water in the new year. Then we start to wonder again, why does Frieren, a 1,000-year-old elf, Jill, someone who probably experienced over 1 million sunrise, wants to see some random ass sunrise in some random ass town? And we were right. Frieren isn't interested. But the fact that she isn't interested made her interested? We once again flashback to the past with the hero party scolding Frieren for not waking up in time to watch the sunrise with them. Frieren in the past still doesn't understand what she did wrong. She still doesn't understand why a sunrise could be so special. Yet Himmel, that Chad that he is, insisted that she would love it because that's just the person she is. And Himmel's words linger on. And when she did see the sunrise, it wasn't special. She even called out Himmel for not knowing her at all. But once again, that flashback serves as a key piece in all of these. Himmel's words always hold so many meaning because it's Frieren remembering them. And it's her acknowledging her wrongdoings for not appreciating every moment throughout their adventures. Because Himmel wasn't talking about the sunrise being liked by Frieren, he was talking about how Frieren would like to see the sunrise with everybody else. And when she saw Fern's expression, that's the moment where she knew she was wrong and that Himmel read her like a book. Using flashbacks intercutting from past and present efforts, it shows how Frieren shifts from feeling nothing to valuing shared experiences. It shows her actually learning things from now on. We see her changing, and again, that's because of Frieren's excellent use of flashbacks. Before I talk about other examples, once again, subscribe, like, support small creators like me. We're so close to hitting 1K subscribers. The question of the day is, do you think Himmel at the end would get resurrected? Because a lot of fans are in two sides of the coin here, and I understand both of them. Because one, Himmel and Frieren finally being together would finally solve world peace. But then again, Frieren's message of not taking things for granted and, appreciating the moment would be lost in time. Like I keep saying, the whole show is just one tragic love story. I think Himmel accepted years ago that him and Frieren would never end up together. So in a way, Frieren's journey might be entirely for her sake. Slowly realizing that she actually loved Himmel. And her understanding those feelings might be the very root in this show. But then again, I'm on the other side, Himmel and Frieren finally ending up together. I don't know, absolute masterpiece. I want to say that. But let's get back on track with episode 7, Like a Fairy Tale. This time, the flashbacks are different since the episode starts with a flashback giving us the lore and then ends with another one symbolizing Frieren's growth. Frieren wakes up from a dream remembering the hero party discussing something regarding the great magic sage Flammy, someone who was pioneered to be the mother of magic and someone who was also Frieren's mentor. They were discussing how Flammy, someone who lived over 1,000 years ago, who did all this amazing stuff, are now almost considered as fairy tales since it was so long ago. So in one flashback, we get introduced to Frieren and Flammy's relationship and how in the whole world, Frieren is the only one who remembers her. Then we're back at the current day. Frieren doesn't understand why humans are holding so many celebrations. And one of the people said that 80 years ago is a long time. So they hold this celebration in order for people to not forget about them. Because in one day, one celebration, they remember the heroes. Then we get another flashback, this time of Himmel making the statue. He said the reason why he makes so many statues of them is to remind people and her that they're real. That even in 1,000 years ago, they existed. They're not fairy tales. And we know that line leads back to the earlier discussion of that flashback on humans thinking Flamme never existed because it was so long ago. By making these statues, Frieren would never hear people talking about, Himmel and their adventures as fake or as fairy tales because they have proof. And Himmel even said there's another reason. It's for Frieren to never be alone. Flamme meant a lot to Frieren. She was her mentor. But thinking back to it, there's no statues of Flamme whatsoever. It's all just scriptures. She gave everything to this world for humans to have magic, yet the only one who remembers her is Frieren. It's kind of just sad because, how many relationships has Frieren lost because she's so old. Then it cuts back to Frieren remembering all those flashbacks, and since her goal was to understand humans better, she now knows why people celebrate things. And she now knows the meaning of the moment when Himmel said he's creating all these statues for her. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a brilliant way to show Frieren's shift from detachment to sentimental attachment. Now she wants the statues to live over 1,000 years. It's brilliant. And that all came from the flashback. And we haven't even talked about episode 14, which is downright cinematic episode, anime, bullshit movie. I don't know. It's a masterpiece. In the start, Frieren states that she isn't interested in accessories. That's more of Fern's thing. Then she notices what Fern is wearing, a bracelet given by Stark that has a lotus design that she recognized and said it's similar to what Himmel bought her way before. She tries to look for it, but it got lost in the forest when the giant bird attacked them. And there's still no flashback, just hold for it. Later on, Fern learns what the lotus design means. It means eternal love. And Frieren doesn't seem bothered about it because, she was like, oh, I didn't know. And Himmel probably didn't know either. And eventually, when Frieren used the spell to find the ring, it finally flashbacks for the first time in the episode. The episode doesn't start us with a flashback. It made us wait and gather all this information. The ring, the design, the meaning, Frieren saying like, oh, she didn't know and Himmel probably didn't know either. And everything gets paid off at the end. She recalls her shopping with Himmel, her picking the ring, Himmel knowing and Himmel going down on one knee to give her the ring. In my headcanon, after Frieren was remembering that, you know, Himmel went down on one knee, I think Frieren remembered like, oh, this motherfucker probably knew. This guy motherfucking knew that it's eternal love. It's actually fucking brilliant. You know, I'm not smart enough to talk about, you know, flashbacks and the integrity of it, but I highly encourage everyone to rewatch this series at least once or twice or 8 different times. I don't know, because it has so many details upon it. It's just a few aspects of why I love Frieren and its excellent use of flashback. Subscribe, like, support small creators like me, and I love you guys. Real one say back.